going to take you on a journey through some unbeaten career paths. We want to introduce you to real people living their dreams in their chosen fields. We'll be speaking with experts in different industries who will share their personal stories, advice, and insights on what it takes to succeed in their professions. Together, we'll discover the incredible possibilities that await us in the world of work. We all know the typical careers like doctors, lawyers, and engineers. But what about becoming a professional government relations expert? Today, I have with me one of my dear friends since school days, Madhuri Maheshwari, who is the Director of Government Relations with her current company. Not many of us have heard of this career path. Let's hear more about it from Madhuri. Hi Madhuri, thank you for joining me today and sharing your story with us. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself and what you do currently?
Hey, hi, Maima. I am working as a public policy professional since last 12 years. And I started my career just as a research associate. And I actually didn't know much about this field called public policy. And if I have to say so, when I started my career, there was no such keyword which we used to find as public policy or even government relations on Naukri.com. LinkedIn didn't used to exist then. So from those years of my career to now, wherein now public policy is being recognized as one of the field to work with, there are specific public policy functional support in the organizations of particular companies. There are public policy consulting companies also. And if I have to say how this particular field has become acceptable, recognized within each one of us in terms of career, many institutes are also now offering public policy master's degrees also.
That's really interesting to know. And you said that, when you started, there was like no information regarding this career out there. LinkedIn didn't exist so much at that point. So how did you get started in this field?
So if I have to say so, it wasn't really planned. I just was kind of moving in the flow because I was a master's in business administration in the finance vertical, was a master's in business laws, was pursuing company secretaries. But little I knew, I did one internship in risk management, wanted to pursue the field of that only, wanted to pursue something in finance, if let's say not risk management. But when I wasn't getting anything through one of my mentor, the college mentor only, I got this particular job with an association called Indian Franchise Association. So I started my work as a research associate. I used to interact with couple of ministries. I used to make smaller, like, things like newsletter, like meeting letters, then some sort of briefing books for some of the events, executing those events, etc. So it wasn't something really planned. And even when I was working with this first company of me, I wasn't really sure, how I'm going to move into that particular direction, how I'm going to, succeed in my career. Because even then, when I was into my first company, I wanted to make a switch to finance, which wasn't really working. But I think with my luck, or let's say what was destined, I got another job which was into corporate communications and corporate affairs. The exact designation was, I think, that time assistant manager, corporate communications. So that was the kind of discrepancy which used to exist. So nowadays, if you have to see, communications is different field altogether, and public policy is different field altogether. So that time when it was just corporate communication, I was doing both roles of communications and public policy. And by that time, I started getting a hang of things, as in what a public policy professional is.
It's actually incredible when you say that you did not plan to end up in this career, and now it's been 12 years for you that you've been here.
And now I don't want to switch my profile, because I really enjoy doing what I'm doing since last 12 years.
That's great. So, I've heard from so many professionals, and the stories that I hear is that we've ended up in our professions by some accident, by some, because we did not plan to be here, but yeah, like it's just been someone told us about it, someone referred this role to us, and now we are here and
Things
we are
happen.
very happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think 99% of people are doing that, except for those set professions where they decide that yes, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer. And then they choose that studies and their field. But the rest of us are actually, unplanned, and it's just destiny. Yeah,
Yeah.
what I believe. So it's great to hear that. And what is the most inspiring aspect of your work for you?
So, while having worked on different aspects of policy, wherein a person is bottom players also. So when I'm speaking, it is like civil societies, it is the peer companies also. It is these couple of industry forums, and like I mentioned, we need to work as a professional who works with the government on some sort of policy aspects, which makes a contribution for your company in terms of delivering that impact and functional values. So aside from that, what excites me most here is that with these levers like creating brand visibility, creating thought leadership opportunities, it is not limited in terms of doing these engagements with the government or doing these engagements with other external stakeholders, but having worked on the back end side of it, for example, working with the internal stakeholder also from a cross-functional perspective, that you want to drive things, you are the owner of particular projects, and you are aligning each set of stakeholder towards that one particular objective. So when I'm saying that, even if it is, let's say, smaller things like opening doors for your business in terms of government outreach, that is the kind of work a person in the public professional public policy has to deliver. It has to be a wide horizon, wide spectrum, and not just limited to policy amendments or thought leadership or brand visibility, but also working on the side of delivering actual dollar value impact for your company. That is something which excites me a lot.
That does sounds very empowering, and it does, like, it could motivate people to get into public relations. So yeah, they're very inspiring. And who should think about getting into this public relations jobs?
So what I just mentioned and told you about my story, being in MBA finance, having no clue about the field altogether, so that's of course one. But aside from that, there are degrees like MBA. You can venture into. There are lawyers also who are venturing into this particular field, because when you're working on policies, legislation, guidelines, they also have a skill set to analyze and assess the impact of these policies on your company. So that's number 3. Aside from that, professionals like my colleagues who have, while doing these particular jobs, gathered some sort of diplomas, etc., depending on their interest. For example, energy is one. So basis that also, while you're working on the job, you can develop certain skill set for a particular industry if you are keen to venture only into that particular specific industry, and that will be like an additional skill set or additional degree, giving you that credibility or confidence to venture into a particular industry, into public policy.
That's good to know. It was actually, part of my next question was related to the specific education required for this role, but in part, you answered that. I think, particularly, get into this field, what I understood is that you don't have to have a specific degree, but you can later develop those skills. You have specific MBAs, right? Really dealing with public relations, and diplomas dealing with this field. So people can, while working in this field, they can get those diplomas and get more specific education related to that.
And there are specific courses, because this sector and this particular field has evolved a lot. So there are actually modules being formulated in terms of imparting these degrees.
That's interesting. So, after our call, once our call is done, I will actually reach out to you and ask you for some links related to these degrees where we could find it, and we'll link it in the videos that we'll share online, so that people have that reference and they can go and learn about these degrees or diplomas. And thank Thank you. And so what is the entry level pay for this work? And if someone does good works, at what level can they reach in their career and how much can they make?
So that is a very subjective question. See, everything depends on the kind of company you would want to venture into, the kind of degrees, or even if it's not degree, your skill set, and then how hardworking you are, how a company is also well placed. For example, if you're working in a startup, if it is well funded, your salaries could be good. If it is like struggling but really wanting to strive into that particular startup domain, your pay could be less, but you can have some learning path over there as well. I mean, I have also come from a place that, I started not with something very, very like, decent salary structure, but the pace at which I have grown myself, I think there is a scope. I wouldn't want to define any numbers over here, but it is a growing and evolving field altogether in terms of career.
That's interesting. And also, if I am someone who doesn't has any relation to this kind of a work, and I'm looking for an entry level role, how should I go about searching for a role? Like in your case, you had a referral from someone. So should I go out seek a referral from someone who's already in that industry to get that entry level job, or should I, go to job boards like Naukri or LinkedIn also and search for this kind of entry level role? How should I go about with my search?
So now things have become easy. See, referrals anyways, any point of time for any field, not just public policy, many a times works. But from the perspective of from year 2011 to now, there are these keywords also available onto Naukri, keywords available onto LinkedIn also, and there are entry level jobs available. At the time of 2011, there were limited opportunities because companies used to not find value, or let's say used to not were not able to define values of this particular role. But since this particular field has evolved, the entry level jobs are also available and quite accessible on the internet for anyone to search, apply, and then of course there are formal structures for HR hiring, etc. So it's easy.
And so any other tips that you would like to share with anyone who is seriously thinking into getting into public relations job?
So I think I would quote it from a very general perspective, because I don't have any specific degree into public policy, but there are a couple of things which you need to learn on the job. For example, the skill set of writing and making representations and submission. So you have to have that skill set, or that keenness to read in between the lines, read the policies and legislation. You need to have an understanding of these levers, doing these partnership campaigns with the government, of positioning some of the thought leadership campaigns, not just with government stakeholder, but also with the external stakeholders. You need to deliver on couple of things from the business perspective also to your company. You need to be representing your company in some forums, for example, some couple of committees, sub-working groups in these forums like USISPF, USISBC, etc. So all that is required and necessary to conduct your job.
These are some great insights that you've given us. Thank you so much for taking the time and sharing this your story with me. I think it's very impactful, and if someone out there is actually thinking about getting into public relations, see this video, get inspired, seek referrals from someone who's already inside working into public relations and get the entry-level job in there. I think it's a great field. Madhuri has been really successful in these last 12 years. She doesn't want to get out of there, having been there unplanned. So I think it's a great profession. Thank you so much again for sharing the story.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really feel passionate about this particular profession, because I'll be feeling happy whomsoever can benefit from this.
I hope so. Let's hope so. So thank you so much and see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.